All right. Mic check. I'm good. So I'm Max Ceron. CWB Association Welding podcast. Today we have a really cool guest. Welding podcast.
The show is about to begin.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the CWB Association podcast. My name is Max Ceron and we're here in Atlanta for Fabtech, and we are wrapping up the week here with our madness of podcasts and having so much fun. And I have an amazing guest who I have been researching and following, and look at the award on the table here. We have Tiffany Orff from the Welding Women's Syndicate, and she is here to talk to us about what's going on in Tiffany's world. Tiffany, how you doing?
Oh, my word. I am super excited to be here. It has been a whirlwind at Fabtech, and I love the fact that I'm on the other side of being interviewed. This is not, it doesn't happen too often, so I appreciate that you guys. I get to talk a little bit more about myself and not anybody else at the moment.
So is this your first Fabtech?
This is my first Fabtech, yes.
Oh, so you've had your Fabtech cherry
Popped.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And how do you feel after 3 days of Fabtech, or 4 days? I don't know when you got in.
I want to go to sleep. Yeah, I definitely need that. I am still on the high of being here and winning the award and all the business meetings and all the interviews we've done. I'm not sure that this is a normal experience for people. I would like to just meander a little bit, which I haven't necessarily been able to do.
That's exactly what we were just talking about.
It's like business. You know what I mean? But definitely a blessing. I'm not complaining.
But it'd be nice to just walk around. Like normally, I have a day where I just walk around, shake hands. I know like 2/3 of the people out there, right? And it's like I'd like to just say, "Hey, how's it going? I haven't
Your
seen
friends,
you since whatever."
right?
Like, and I have been. Well, number one, I was late, WestJet. And then number two, we've been doing a bazillion podcasts.
Sure.
So it's been nuts.
It happens. It's not exactly an awful thing, but different experience.
Yeah,
super fun, but different. Yep.
So did you come to walk the floor? Did you have a booth? Did you have presentations? Tell us about what you filled the last 3 days with.
So I came primarily here to just receive the award for the Welding Women's Syndicate. That is the reason. We were literally working up to the last day before we flew out. I had no intention of, just started a business. So I really don't have any downtime right now. And then I got the email that we received the WEMCO award, and I was like, okay, I still can't do it. It's just not in the books right now. And then I had people like Veronica Prado who said, yeah, right, we're going. So on a whim, we basically got this to happen. And with the support of several people who helped make it happen, we are here. So basically, we just came in Tuesday evening, got in really late, got to our Airbnb, went to a luncheon and then the award ceremony, and then we hobnobbed with Lincoln Electric, which was super fun.
Hey, man, when Lincoln says we're taking you out.
Hey, and it was
excellent.
Take it. Let me tell you, it was like red carpet, beautiful, private banquet room, super fun, amazing people, and then podcast today, and then we got to leave. So like a super whirlwind, you know? So that's exactly why we came here. As soon as people found out we were coming to Fabtech, it was just booked up. There was no time to I've hugged people on the way, moving to the next meeting or podcast, but there was no. Maybe next year we can do a booth and they can come to us. I think that may be easy.
Well, we normally have a booth. But this year we did not.
No, you have a ballroom now. I think this is an upgrade. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but then we don't got the through fare. Right?
Sure,
we don't have the people just coming through. So that's what we missed. And also, in terms of coming to Fabtech is not in a lot of ways like other conventions where you just go and peruse around.
Sure.
Everyone here, the thousands of people here, all came here with a mission.
Sure.
To buy a machine or talk about a product or meet a person or so everyone's on their way to the next thing, just goal to goal to goal to goal. And so it swallows you up very fast.
Sure.
You know one of the secrets? You gotta stay up till 2 in the morning.
Lots of caffeine.
You gotta stay up till 2 in the morning every day.
I think they also need more coffee on each corner because there is not enough caffeine here.
The caffeine, the coffee place just outside the B when you come in, it's good, but the lineup's always too long.
Not for us. And it was bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I had to tell them too, it was the best coffee we've had.
Ever?
No, I don't know about ever, but like especially because it's more like an expo or
And it's an in-and-out place.
I didn't expect it to be so delicious.
It was quite delicious.
Yeah.
Now, you said your thing booked up and you got this award.
Mm-hmm.
What is the award? Explain the award.
Okay, so this is the WEMCO Excellence in Welding Award, and what it is, it celebrates people who add more value to the welding industry. And what there's the media category, there's an individual category, there's a welding facility, welding educator. There's several other categories, and I apologize that I don't have them memorized. But we ended up winning it for Welding Women's Syndicate of what we do in the media to help celebrate women. Mm-hmm. And after 2 years, this is a big deal. I really didn't expect this type of acknowledgement this quickly. Mm-hmm. So, of course, we had to come here. But that's what it is. It's like the Oscar. What is it, the Oscar or the Grammy? Okay, for the welding industry for the company,
So
which is super
the
cool.
Oscar, good.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, the American Welding Society is exactly who we want to be acknowledged by, because I think that's how we're going to have change for women in the industry. So it's a huge.
So, question.
Sure.
Let's explain now maybe
boy.
what the Welding Women Syndicate is. Inception, mandate, vision. What do you guys do?
Love it. Okay. So originally what we started was an online platform. And basically what it was is that when I started this industry, I didn't have somewhere where I could go to find a mentor or somebody who was like me in the industry or somewhere where I could find resources. And I decided one day, with the support of several women, like, why don't we just create this, right? And so it just kind of evolved, what it is what we do is we celebrate, advocate, and showcase women in the welding industry by having an online live on Instagram. And then it just blew out of this amazing proportion, right? It started from, we talked to people all over the world. Mm-hmm. And then we went to on-site locations, just like impromptu interviews, people who didn't even know. Like I had super stalked people. One of the ones, it was in Arkansas, and it was a woman. Every time Arkansas Elite Welding Academy gets a woman in their school, they tag the Welding Women's Syndicate. Mm-hmm. So I decided on a whim one day, I'm going to show up and do a live interview for this girl. She had no idea. Like I had posted her things on my stories, and then I just showed up in Arkansas. So we're doing now in-person interviews. After a year, we had global visibility, and we had so many views. We had so much visibility. It was amazing. And we had the opportunity to now turn the online platform into a brick and mortar building. So we took over a 5,000 square foot facility, which is now the new headquarters for the Welding Women's Syndicate. And of course, it didn't stop there. Now, because I was a welding instructor at the time, I decided to open it as a welding facility. So we're teaching women now.
So you got welding booths.
I have welding booths. Yeah, I have welding booths. I have welding students. I have welding apprentices. I have welding, women who work there that I interviewed originally, like Veronica Prado, who is the CFO of the company. She's there 2 to 3 times a week. So it just started the online platform to now in person and creating jobs and teaching. So it's so much more than that now, which is fantastic. So what we're doing is creating more women in the industry.
Okay, now your background. Mm-hmm. So why did you do this?
Oh, I don't know. Why, dear Lord? That is the question. Honestly, when I first started in this industry, I just didn't see anybody like me, right? The only person I had ever seen was Jessie Combs, and she was on TV standing on the side of a car. And I basically clapped for her as I owned my own fabrication shop at the time. And I went back to work. And I was like, hey, that's cool. But what I didn't see is other women who had their hands actually on the build, or people who were welding, or people who were designing. They were either just the girlfriends, or the girlfriends who got builds done for them, or, they took the credit as the business owner, but they didn't necessarily get their hands dirty. And so I always felt kind of like an outcast, which is fine. I still loved it regardless. I was just going to be the weirdo. And then so many different evolutions. I moved out of state. I built a new shop out of state. I went to college. And what I still lacked was seeing more women in the industry, right? And so I was just kind of tired of waiting for another company to create a resource, a place where I could just see welding women of all walks of life, where we were celebrated, where we were included, where we were showcased, and on a daily basis. And so I created it. And it's just a whirlwind. I really didn't know what I was stepping into, and that there was such a need for it.
Yeah, there was like a vacuum, an empty space that needed to be filled.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're women every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And what I see from other companies is we're created, it's a trending hashtag, or we're doing it's once a month or once a week. And then anybody who has any diversity in their background, they're certainly not celebrated,
Yeah.
and I don't want to be anything trending. I want to be celebrated on a daily basis for what I do, not only as a woman,
An actual
just as a
cultural
welder.
shift, like an actual
Sure,
cultural shift.
sure.
Yeah.
And because I didn't see it, I created it. And it's just been this massive evolution of things. And now I think we're getting more into the politics of it, which
Always comes.
I did not know what I was stepping into, but I'm more than welcome to like
Learn.
take it on.
Yeah.
No, not learn. I'm gonna take it on like a monster, dude. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
walk right into it. I'm joining the politics. I don't care. I want the change, so I'm gonna make sure I create it. So I'm not gonna wait for anybody to do for me.
Now let's back up because you had a fabrication shop.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking for this. When did you get into welding in the first place?
I got into it, I think it was 2009. So originally my business, I was in real estate investment. I was taking my test to become a stockbroker. I was in insurance. And so I had a very corporate background, right? Aside from the building of my own houses and flipping them. And it was fun, great money. I loved it. And then life change happened, which was divorce. And I walked into a shop one day. I basically had to take one of my custom cars to a shop. And I walked into this fantastic fabrication shop. And welding was the one trade I didn't have under my belt. And that was it. Like, I felt like this was where I wanted to be, right? End up dating the owner, which I will always say, because he's actually the mentor of me handing me the first MIG gun 13 years ago. Yeah. And I took over that shop a year and a half later as a co-owner. So I got all this education from him. He was the most fantastic mentor. And I just never left. And there was a huge evolution from it. Obviously it went from shop girl to business owner to college educator to now just creating this woman revolution. Who knew that this was going to even happen, to this amazing award, right? So that's the beginning of it. It literally started from me sweeping the floors of a fab shop. I didn't know this was going to happen. I didn't know that's where my place was supposed to be, but I love it.
So did you get any formal welding or fabrication education?
Sure.
From walking into that shop, how did you decide you wanted to start leveling up your skills?
I went to college. I have a degree in welding technology. So I have an associate's in it. Yep. And then from there, I got contracts with Airgas. So I went into structural welding. Thereafter, I started teaching. And that was on a private scale. And then I had already trained my own, coworkers and my business previous. So this was kind of a natural evolution. And then I had children, so it kind of just evolved like, all right, I raised my children. I started training people in my own business. I got the college education. I'm starting to teach the college welding now. And then the school. It just seemed like a natural adaptation of my life. This is just how it worked out.
Well,
So
and that's very
all
similar to my
formal.
path. As you work your way through, a couple things happen. First
Sure.
of all, you realize how much you love to learn the thing that you're learning. Like every time
Absolutely.
you learn something new, you're like, "Damn, okay, cool. What's next?"
Yes.
Right? And then the second thing happens is that you learn, and this isn't for everybody, but when you learn that you like to teach, and when you learn that you like to teach, your learning goes up by like 10 times whatever you thought you did.
Sure.
Because to teach someone else, you got to have it really locked in, right?
Yes.
Like, because they're going to ask you the questions.
Yes.
And you don't want to fumble, right? You want to have them trust you. And I mean, there's always moments that you're like, I don't know.
Sure,
I'll figure
sure.
it out. I'll
Sure,
research.
sure.
But when you become an educator, you really have to like double down on learning.
Agreed.
Right?
Yeah.
And so that's a big step. A lot of people struggle with that step. A lot of people think they can teach.
Sure.
But it's not for everybody.
No, it's definitely not for everybody. And I, oh my God, I've had my moments, obviously, but you know what? I'm human and I've had the best mentors and I still have the best mentors. So if I've ever had a moment where I'm like, I have no idea, I go back to my resources. You go back to basics.
Like, what's up with this?
And you're human, but it's definitely not for everybody. The ability to just adapt to each individual personality is definitely a skill. And that was basically one of the things that I saw that was lacking when I had my own formal education was that it was just a one-way fits all. And that's certainly not how it's going to work with teaching.
And
Everybody's
not going
different.
forward, especially not going forward when all the systems are learning to be more open
Sure.
and pliable and, flexible.
Sure.
So our industry needs to reflect that.
Yeah.
Right.
Agreed. Yeah, definitely. And I think that because it was more, it was a boys' club, and
100%.
you bring a woman in and they're, who shows some type of skill or takes control of things or has a natural adaptation to things. I wasn't necessarily well received. Once I basically finished the curriculum or won all the awards or passed all the certifications, they were done with me. And I was like, oh, that's not okay with me. You know what I mean? And so I wanted more. Like when I decided to create my own, circumstances with my own facility, I wanted to make sure that you weren't going to max out of your own, the curriculum. If I can't provide it for you, I'm definitely going to provide that resource where you can continue on, learn more, and get, that path for you in welding that you deserve. Because I think I kind of knew where I wanted to go. Not that I knew, but I just went with the evolution of it. And now I have the path with the Welding Women's Syndicate. Like I know where I'm supposed to be going, but I don't want people to fumble because I don't want to lose them, especially women. So because I think it's such a daunting industry for women to jump into. And if you don't have the proper resources or mentorship or the proper education, you're going to leave it. And I hate to see that because I think there's definitely a place for all of us.
Females have the highest attrition rate in the trades.
Well, and even if you're not going to be a welder, you can be an ambassador. You can be a salesperson. You can be an engineer. You could be the next programmer for robotics. Like there's definitely a place for you.
Huge spectrum. Yeah.
Absolutely. There's so many different niche welding applications out there that people don't even know about. Like I'm still learning. Like I still learned about it today. I was like, holy moly, the whole robotics. Oh my God, it was so insane today. There's a place for everybody, and I definitely don't want to lose them. So the ability to definitely adapt to all those different, nuances of people is something that not all instructors have, know, and I think that I hope I have it. It seems like I've had it. I've been told this, so far so good.
So where are your roots from? Where are you born? Like, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Southern California. I grew up actually in Long Beach, California, LA area. My mother's side is from Spain. My father's side is from Germany. I was there for...
That would have been some interesting fights.
Yeah, it was very interesting growing up. Yeah, we were just talking about this, actually. My mom wasn't even allowed to speak Spanish in the house.
Oh,
yeah.
yikes.
So that was very weird.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I don't want to get into that part. That was very weird growing up.
That's another episode.
Yeah, that was definitely very weird growing up. But from then on, I was in Los Angeles area until about 2013 when I moved out of state to Arkansas. And then I worked from North Carolina to Texas and Louisiana and all over the place. And then I have actually been back in California for now the past 2.5 years.
And is that where the HQ is?
That's where the HQ is. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And I'm not leaving because it's way too expensive to move. We're done. I think. I mean, I
Just
like
grow
being
vertically now.
I mean, yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. Expand. But I mean, it's California, so that's wishful thinking, I think. But I love the building where we're at, so I think this is it.
Now, and when you decided, that you wanted to go down this path, like, let's even just say when you walked into that shop and you're like, I love this welding thing. Is cool. I want to learn. What did your circle of support think about this move? It sounds like you kind of tried a lot of different things.
Yeah.
So they were probably just like, oh, Tiffany's doing this new crazy thing.
That's exactly what it was. It's funny because you never know what the hell I'm going to do, right? So I remember my mom, I was just telling her about an interview I did, and she was like, oh, you're still doing that welding thing? I've been doing it for about 13 years, Mom. Yes, I'm still doing it. So it's absolutely not abnormal for me to be doing something or be out of state or another job. But, honestly, nobody thought about it, because I was already the black sheep. So I think that nobody really cared at that point.
How are you the black sheep? Sounds like everything you did was a hit.
No, absolutely not. So I was a single mom at the age of 17. So that put the black sheep, the cloud over my life. And then I had a very conventional and traditional family. So that definitely was not allowed. And then divorce, that's certainly not allowed. And women in this type of industry, it was different. I think they all expected me to be like more corporate or more a distinguished
professional.
Sure. And and I was going in that direction, but I was like, I don't like it.
It's a tough world to move into corporate when you're looking for things like integrity.
Sure. Exactly.
Trust. honesty in the corporate world, there's very little of that.
You are absolutely
When
right.
you get into the trades, you are surrounded by people that seem to understand those concepts
Sure.
much more than any CEO of some giant,
Well,
you know, and
everything's
I don't know
just
what
about
it
the
is.
dollar. That's what
Yeah,
it is. And they
yeah.
don't necessarily see the people. And I remember, it's funny that you say that. I remember one of the pivotal moments was when I was getting my license to be an insurance agent. And, you know, my insurance agent that was mentoring me, she's making millions of dollars. And they basically just didn't care whether or not the people were going bankrupt, paying their bills or.
Yeah,
and
they just wanted to move the homes.
They
Yeah.
wanted to get the award for all the millions they got for that year. And I was like, that is not me. You know, I had to work really hard to be a single mom, and I'm never going to corrupt somebody just for $1. I'd rather just struggle. That's just never going to be me, you know? And so I basically, I think it was an unconscious decision to make a change in the career. So when I had the opportunity of walking into that shop and just seeing like hands on, and
I'm
he
in
created his
control.
own,
Yeah,
exactly. He
yeah.
created his own environment. And this is, you know, it's me, it's my business. I wanted that. And I knew I could do it. And I mean, I'm still doing it, you know?
Well, 100%. It should never even be a question of whether you can do it.
Sure.
It's just a how and when, right?
Sure, absolutely, absolutely. And I had the opportunity, and I took it, you know?
Because I think that's a lot of stumbling blocks with, you know, people of color, women, you know, all the
all the marginalized groups.
all the marginalized
Sure.
groups you're looking at. It's not, they might have the how, they might have the when, but they don't even know like where to start. They don't
Sure.
even know. They don't even know what they don't know. It's like they're not even allowed to
Exactly.
explore into
Sure,
that
sure.
space, right?
And I just said this. It's so weird. I just said almost verbatim what you just said. That's they don't know what they don't know. Yeah, exactly. And that's funny. So now I'm providing like maybe you could be this. Maybe you could be the next welding facility. Maybe you could be the next automotive builder. Who knows? But
Yeah.
you know that.
It's literally whatever you want. Yeah.
And if you like it, do it. Like I don't necessarily know what the I'm doing a lot of the time. Like I just figure it out. Like
Yeah.
there is no book that tells me, okay, tomorrow, Tiffany. You know, aside from my little schedule, I don't know what I'm going to be. I don't know what I'm going to say today. You know what I mean? Like, you just go with it. Don't be afraid. The more that I make the mistakes, the more I learn.
Well, and when you see those jobs on paper, that is like you are, you know, boss manager X, and this is your steps of the day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Repeat Monday to Friday for the next 32 years.
Lord help me.
I start getting like high blood pressure. I start being like,
Absolutely.
What? Like, I mean, and even now that I'm in a corporate space, I'm a director at a big company. Well, Aston, you know, she works for me. Like, I like to bring in the chaos.
Yeah.
I like to do that because I think that that's what keeps work fun, intelligent, evolving. You know, like it keeps things moving so that the target's not in the same place every day. Right. So that it makes you think, it makes you be more creative.
Sure.
And if you take creativity out of work, you're dead. Like you're just a corpse, you know?
It becomes mundane. Nobody wants to do the same thing well, I won't
Well,
say
hey,
nobody.
you know,
Some
lots,
people
you
do
know.
like that. It's safe.
Yeah.
I've always chosen violence, haven't I, ladies? Always choose violence.
Chaos.
And I do. And it's funny because that's the reason why I absolutely love stick welding. You know what I mean? It's loud. It's dirty. It's, you know, penetrating. Love it. Doesn't necessarily have a place in my world. Unless
Have you done gouging?
I
Carbon
have
arc-
done. Yes, I have
That's
done.
chaos.
That is chaos.
So loud, so much power.
But it's just something that appeals to certain people. I don't like doing, I mean, I do have my rituals and I do feel the safety in certain things. Like you wake up every day, you have your cup of coffee, sure. But I do like to shake it up. You know what I mean? Just like I like to be a disruptor in the industry.
Today's not coffee. Today's
We're going to do, who knows, you know?
bourbon.
No, it's going to be argon fumes. You know what I mean? Like shake it up. Like I do appreciate those rituals once in a while. I think that, you know, everybody needs the comfort of that, but man, I just like to shake things up. I absolutely
Well, you know,
do.
like I said to you just before we started, the secret to Fabtech is to stay up to 2 a.m. And people are like, no, I get too tired. It's like, yeah, do it. Because when you're tired at midnight with everyone else who's tired that's been here all day, the real talk comes out.
Absolutely.
Right? Like the real talk comes out. Or not the like, hey, check out my product.
Like
BB.
after 5 bourbons last
Yeah,
night.
exactly. Then the real talk comes out. And let me
Sure.
tell you, some of the biggest deals that are happening in this week some of the most important handshakes are happening late night.
Agreed.
When people are talking and being honest, right?
Agreed. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's so true. Yeah. Well, it's true because you have to maintain a certain decorum when you're super tired because you're cranky.
Mm-hmm.
You don't necessarily have a straight mind. You got to stay awake, but you got to network. You got to do your job. You're like, holy moly, how am I going to get through the day? So that's absolutely true.
And then after a couple drinks, you relax a little bit, and then you're thinking about you're sleeping in your bed. And you're like, all right, what are we talking about again? Oh yeah, death to the industry. No.
Yes. Choosing
Down
violence
with the
once
patriarchy.
again. Absolutely. I like you.
I was raised by strong women. I have raised strong women. I love strong women. I think
Love
that's
it.
what
I absolutely
makes
love that.
I think that's like the key of what's making the world garbage is that there's been 100 years of putting down a part of our population that's
Sure,
50% of us.
I mean,
Like-
we create humans. I don't
Yeah.
know why there's such a way that we're just putting them down. It's a weird generation shift.
Mhm.
You know, it was weird because I had watched a documentary about a woman who was an actual World War II, Rosie the welder, not a riveter. She was welding, right? 102, I believe she was. And one of the questions asked, they asked her, you know, of course, how did you feel when you were welding? How did they treat you? And she was like, so nonchalant. Well, I was just doing my job. Where did we change?
Yeah.
What happened? Because I feel the same way
I have
too.
a theory, but I don't know if I can say it on here.
Why not?
I think it was Christianity, the push of Catholic Church.
I'm Christian. Do you
Right?
really think
I
this?
do. I think that
Going
that's,
back to traditional
Yeah.
roots and such?
I think that after World War II, there was
Uh-uh.
a big push to kind of normalize
Sure.
society, and that white picket fence 50s vibe was so Christian heavy. And
Yes.
Christianity is very patriarchal.
It is definitely.
And I think that that was the driving force. When you look at the boomers,
Mm-hmm,
they're looking at that normalized cookie cutter Christian cutout, and that has no place for women.
No, it absolutely.
Kitchen,
it's funny. I was raised
house
that way.
raising,
Yeah, I was
right? Like-
absolutely raised about you're supposed to be seen and not heard, and I definitely didn't want to do that. You know, especially I was a mom at the age of 17, and at that point, I was a grown woman. I had no choice. I had to grow up really quick, and you were not going to tell me to not be seen, to be seen and not heard. I had
Yeah.
plenty to say. I was raising a little woman, and I had to quickly learn that that's just not the way the world was going to be.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and you look at your kid. My first kid was a girl. My daughter
Mine as
Daniela,
well.
same name as her.
oh,
It's
that's crazy.
Yeah, it is
No
crazy.
way.
Yeah.
Well, hey, hold on. That's so rad. You work for your dad.
Oh my God, you. So Daniela's born. Her mom was 18 when she was born, and I was
Sure.
20. And you know, we're young. Everyone's telling us you've ruined your life. Blah blah blah. What
Of
are you doing?
course.
But I was already welding at 17. So I'm
Oh,
like, what are you
that's
talking?
so
I already
rad.
have a career.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I already have paychecks. I already have my own place. Like
Oh, it's so rad.
we're good. You know,
Yeah.
like yes, maybe having kids super young it was perhaps difficult, which I will argue wasn't.
It is
Like-
difficult.
Like, I mean, difficult in different ways. But man, I had all the energy in the world.
yeah,
Like, I
you
was like,
absolutely
I could do. What do you need, kid? Let's do it. Right? Like
you're running with them.
Mhm,
I tell my daughter we raised each other because there's only 17
That's
years
right.
difference.
That's
So
right.
she's. I mean, my goodness, you know, like you literally raise each other.
Yeah.
So
But, you know, looking at my daughter as a little girl, and I was like, you know, my mom is the most punk rock woman. Like, she could barely speak English,
Oh, that's
terrible
crazy.
accent, little
Sure.
tiny Latina woman
Yeah.
in Canada. We were refugees from a war, so we had no family, no money, no nothing.
Oh, wow.
And you try telling my mom no. I don't care if you're a 6'4"
Right.
big.
Right.
She's putting
sounds like
you
my grandma.
down.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
like it's happening. She doesn't care. She got her degree at 40 and restarted her whole career.
Oh, I
and
love
like
it.
became a social worker working with like drug addicts and stuff. And
Oh,
just 'cause-
she's not playing.
Oh no, she's down.
She's got 2 chanclas ready to go, man. Oh, that's so funny.
So that's you know, you have a little baby girl,
Yeah.
and I'm like, no one's putting you down. And I remember when she got in school and she was kind of being like an aggressive girl.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Because hey, we're Latinos, we're aggressive, right?
Sure, sure.
And I'd get a call from school being like, oh, your daughter was in a fight. Okay, and
Sound like me. Did
Yeah.
you win?
yeah, are you gonna come and pick her up? Well, let me ask you, who did she fight? Well, she fought this boy. Did you call his parents and tell him to pick him up?
Exactly.
Well, no. Well, then why are you calling me? Deal with it. You're the teacher. Treat
This
her
is your
like anybody
job.
else.
Exactly.
Why are you like just because she's a girl?
Yes.
She gets some special treatment. Well, we're gonna have to hold her for detention. Well, then hold her for detention.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I mean, it's the rules are the rules.
Right.
Don't make rule for boy, rule for girl.
Exactly.
That ain't gonna fly.
Wow,
Like,
you had that. And it's funny. I remember the very same conversation with my daughter. I remember some boy was picking on her and she was really young. And she said something about hitting him. I said, well, did he start it? Yes, he did. Did you protect yourself? Yes, you did. Am I mad? Absolutely not. You deal with the consequences. You already know what's going to happen.
Yep.
But I'll be darned if you're going to, bully my daughter.
And I'll defend you. I'll defend
Absolutely.
you, whatever. And if their dad wants to talk, you can see a little dad talk go down.
I've had it. I remember a situation when my daughter was in kindergarten and, she was wandering about, and this was a really nice private school that I had her in. She wandered about. They couldn't find her, and I came to pick her up. And the teacher basically said, I don't know where your daughter is. I said, that is not acceptable. That's why we pay this extra premium. And she was like, well, and so we found my daughter, and she was like, well, she shouldn't have run off. I said, well, maybe you should just do your job. And she said something else. I said, well, you should go to. And I pulled her out of this school it took 6 months to get in this damn school. And I was so mad. And I said, you know what? Because they saw a young woman who had a very expensive school for her daughter, and they were going to try to browbeat me into submission. Oh, you got the wrong girl. I'm sorry. I said, no, you should do your job. And of course, I had to have a conversation with my daughter about, hey, we should be more mindful about our surroundings. But in the end, she was like...
And this created a problem that,
Of course.
So the
there was always the logic there.
Yeah.
But you don't tell me that, you obviously were not doing your job. You didn't bring my daughter to the car. How do you allow a 7-year-old to walk off, Absolutely not acceptable. So, you don't tell me things about my kids. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah. And it's funny because actually when my boy was born, my second kid, my daughter was like, you better watch out. Dad's going to say something to you. Like, she was on it. Like, okay,
they already know. The disclaimer is absolutely there.
Yeah. So
That's
actually, he's very calm and even keeled, and my daughter's a firecracker.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, it's cool, man.
That's
my
cool.
daughter knocked out 2 degrees by 24.
That's
rock
so
and roll,
rad.
man.
Congratulations to that. Yeah, absolutely.
So, back to the women we went. Well, actually,
I know. We just totally
yeah, we got to take a break. She's giving me
evolved.
the commercial time.
Okay.
So we're going to take a quick break here
Yes.
for our sponsors and our supporters.
Yes.
And we'll be back here with Tiffany Orff on the CWB Association podcast.
Awesome.
The CWB Association is new and improved and focused on you. We offer a free membership with lots of benefits to anyone interested in joining an association that is passionate about welding. We are committed to educating, informing, and connecting our workforce. Gain access to your free digital publication of the Weld magazine, free online training, conferences, and lots of giveaways. Reach out to your local CWB Association chapter today to connect with other welding professionals and share welding as a trade in your community. Build your career, stay informed, and support the Canadian welding industry. Join today and learn more at cwbassociation.org.
And we are back here on the CWB Association podcast. My name is Max Ceron, and I'm here with Tiffany Orff, who is from the Welding Women Syndicate.
Yes.
So we just went off on an awesome tangent about all the issues wrong with the world and society as we know it. And we are going to fix this one step at a time because change is imminent, right?
Yeah,
Either you're an
absolutely.
advocate for change or you're a deterrent, and I'd rather be an advocate, right?
I'm creating it. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm not going to wait for anybody to
That's
do it
right.
for
You
me.
push.
Yeah,
Now,
absolutely.
with the Welding Women Syndicate, you started online. It was basically a resource for networking.
Sure,
If I got that right.
Sure.
And then you started looking towards a brick and mortar, right? Why? Why did you decide that I had to expand past the ether of the internet, which sounded like it was going very well?
It
And,
was.
I was following,
Yes.
there's all these followers. Why all of a sudden it's like, why do I need 4 walls? Why do I need to exist within this?
I wanted to not be able to be doing it in my house. I wanted to have an official space. I wanted to provide a place where I could teach people. I wanted to get away from working in colleges and do something different, something that was more mindful for women and youth, because I just think that there's a lacking in the college curriculums at the moment and just other vocational programs. And I'm sure they all have their, their goods and bads, but I wanted to provide my own. And I knew that I could. So we went on a, basically looking for buildings, and my boyfriend and I decided to go in on a building. And that was it. As soon as I walked in, I said, this is where I'm going to teach. I knew exactly what it was. I saw it. Just like in real estate, you can kind of envision. I go, this is going to be the space. This is where we could teach. This is where I could build my car. Like it sank to me. So it wasn't even a question of how or why. It's just, that the door opened and that's where it was. That it told me this is where it's going to be. I want to have a set place so we can hang our hat and people could come visit and I could do more instead of just being an online place to showcase.
And then when you get the space, you have to make that a reality. Right?
Yes.
And like, I mean, is there funding coming in?
No.
Is there?
No, it's me.
Is it all
It's
not
called
for
Welding.
Is it a not-for-profit entity?
Nope.
Is
No,
it-
I'm a full business.
Is it incorporated
Yep.
then? And as an incorporation, you make money how?
I weld.
Yeah. so-
I weld in our forums. I teach the welding. I work on cars. I do installs. I weld. I mean, that's
And
my
so-
God-given talent. So
and that
that's what I'm
funds
doing.
The
Yeah.
space.
Yeah, absolutely.
And of the space in terms of training, for cost, frees or packages, how does that work?
No free. We do
Yeah.
have introduction, like we have introduction classes. Those are minimal costs. And then we have advanced classes. We have intermediate classes. Usually it's all personalized. I don't have like a set, like this is what you could do this
Like
week.
every January, it's going to run this class.
No,
yeah.
it will eventually get to that. It's still just evolving because it took us almost 3 months to establish the building. We had to clear it out. We had to clean it.
Probably put some power in. I don't know. like-
Well, we still have to get 3-phase in, so it's
that
there.
limits you
But
quite
we
a
have
bit.
to.
Yeah.
Well, we have
Tap
the
into it to the
3-phase
box.
actually tapped in, but we have to wire it all separately for each individual machine. So that's very expensive. I've actually tapped into my 401k, liquidated it, sold cars.
What's a
Done the work.
401k?
I know exactly.
No, I don't know. Like I'm
that's
Canadian.
My retirement plan.
Okay,
so I
okay,
liquidated
all
the
right.
retirement plan. I sold cars. I've done jobs. So anything I can to get money to come into the building. Obviously, before we were actually working, because I was there 24/7. It's just endless work. And then finally, I started getting more established. Doing like working with the community, like getting features in local magazines so that people knew I was actually there, talking to friends locally, doing more what was it? Just reaching out to people, like reaching out to friends who are in
Just
the
the
area.
networking, right?
And I want to learn how to weld. I want to learn how to weld. We're going to have an opening. We're going to do this party. So just to get the name out there locally. And then now it's becoming a little bit more liquid. So that is nice.
Is it a only female space?
No.
Is it all
No.
men and women,
Men
all
and
genders,
women.
everything?
I mean, obviously it's centered around women, but it's for anybody that wants to learn. Like we basically have something for everyone there. Yeah.
And do you bring in special guests for instruction?
Not yet.
Do you do any stuff
No.
like that?
No, we
How
haven't
do I
done that
get
yet.
to come do a presentation for your group?
Anytime. Just let me know. I've had people visit, obviously, but we haven't been in that position quite yet. No.
Yeah.
I mean, we barely opened the door March, April. So I got the building in February, March, April. We had a soft opening in April, which was a big party. Lisa was there. Veronica was there. A lot of our industry friends were there. And it was still just a soft opening. We still haven't even actually had the grand opening. It just ended up being like, okay,
Are you
now.
going to get the big fake scissors and cut a ribbon?
Yeah, absolutely.
You can make them.
Yeah, of course I am. Because that's with being a partnership with the community. So you're, Chamber of Commerce is something we definitely want to get a part of with the community. And that's how you get your name out locally. Working with the different high schools and colleges, that's happening very soon. I'm about to go do a talk at a local high school. So we're still so new into it. So
Yeah.
eventually there's so much more that it's going to happen, but we're still just so new. We had to actually just get the money to be running to pay the rent. And then now like the fun stuff, like the
Yeah.
hobnobbing and the networking at
And the
Fabtech.
idea of setting up and getting things installed.
Sure,
and blah,
sure.
Blah, blah. Yeah.
And that it's time and money,
Yeah.
just like anything.
Like anything
so
else, yeah. I had a very negative experience with a business when I was younger
Oh.
with the Chamber of Commerce
oh,
in my area. I remember I was so pumped to get a business to the point where I was like, you got to pay and you got to
Sure,
submit
sure.
documentation and blah,
Sure.
blah, blah. And I signed up and I joined my local Chamber of Commerce and I was like, okay, I'm a legit business. And this is like, my business road was fairly bumpy. I had a couple of really bad failed attempts and finally got one that was like, okay, this is working good.
Sure.
And let's register. Let's do the thing. I got in the mail this like your first $1. They send you this plaque. Welcome to the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
You hang it on your wall. And then I went to my first Chamber of Commerce meeting and I was so shunned because it was just all these rich old white guys.
Of course.
Right. And they all go to country clubs and they're all talking about, golfing and this and that. And like I was there like maybe
Did you feel like excluded?
100%. 100%. They're talking about things that they were going to do in front of me. And I was like, oh, cool. These guys are friends and doing these things. I didn't find out till like 6 months later that they were all things that were included with being in the Chamber of Commerce, but I wasn't being invited to, that I had full access to. And I remember I was like, no, I'm not done. I'm not done. And then I got nominated for an award with the Chamber of Commerce, and I wasn't even a member anymore. Like, I was like, do you guys even know what's going on?
No,
Like,
clearly not. Yeah. No, absolutely not.
but I'm sure it'll be better for you. That was just my poopy story. Yeah.
It'll be way better.
Yeah. No, you're gonna be awesome.
Honestly, I mean, I do so much marketing and media and outreach that really, I mean, I just want them. I don't know. It just seems like it would be something good locally.
Yeah, because they have.
Although my pages on social media are way larger than theirs, but
exactly. but they have access to connections that are a little government, local municipal officials, people that you might
educational
need to lean
facility.
on,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Like, and so that's what I was looking for. I was like, oh yeah, we can work with it because I build cars.
Sure.
At that shop, it was
Nice.
building cars.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So we would build cars for like athletes and like for movies was a big thing.
Oh,
so we
very
would
cool.
do set productions, lighting rigs, explosion rigs, and then vehicle support.
Cool.
And so I was like, we joined the local artists union to get more gigs, and then that's when we decided to join the Chamber of Commerce to be like, well, maybe we can team up because I didn't have painting facilities, and I was like, I can connect with other groups here, and if I need lots of painting, then I can send them here. If I need this, then I can send them there. And then it was like a whole bunch of getting ignored, and I was like, you know what? I can just do this on my own.
Absolutely.
I can just go knock on some person's door and be like, hey, you want to work with me? And
through
done.
social media, it's endless now.
So like,
you know
what do
I
I
mean?
need you for? I thought you'd help me, but
Right.
and it wasn't cheap to join.
Sure,
right.
sure.
So, but I still got that first dollar plaque. I still have it.
And well, the experience was interesting, I guess.
Yeah, no, it was a lesson learned in terms
Lesson
of
learned, yeah,
in
sure.
terms of being excluded. I thought that me being a weird brown poor kid with tattoos, having a successful business with like 12 staff and a 50,000 square foot shop would be like, you're okay now. It's like,
You
no,
needed to
guess
find
not.
a welding men syndicate. See, that's what you needed.
No. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that. Men don't need anything else.
Yes, you absolutely. You still need the resources and support. Absolutely, you
we
do.
need we need more of like marginalized group support.
Yes,
right? Like,
sure.
Regardless of whatever it is,
Yeah.
right? Like, I mean, maybe like brown, short, fat, tattooed.
Oh my!
Like,
So that's why Welding Women's Syndicate was actually created, is for all those groups that don't find a place. Like, there's not a particular. I don't care how much you weld or where you weld or who you are. You're definitely included.
You're
you know
in,
what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
because there just isn't enough support. I don't want to be considered just a blue collar. I don't do carpentry. I don't even like it. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I could if I really want to, but I wanted just one place that wasn't watered down just for people who welded so that we can know we're talking the same terminology. We could find somebody in that state or in that country or in that province and network, because there's just not enough companies that do it. I get the Chamber of Commerce is supposed to do that, but now I'm thinking that maybe I won't do that.
no, do it. You're not going to know unless you try, right?
No, well, I've done it before in other states. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
so-
It didn't necessarily work out, but it just seems like it would work out, right? I'm going to try it again.
Yeah.
It seems logically like you join the community, but
Yeah.
I am creating the community.
Have you been
though.
able to meet up with the red bench out here, Jolene and Mackenzie?
I saw them on Instagram. I'm like, I don't know where they're at. I haven't met them.
I
yet.
think they left today,
Aw.
but they've been here all week, and they
I
are
love
running a
them.
very cool thing in Canada.
Yes,
so
I know. I definitely support.
we support them a lot.
That's so
Our
rad.
local chapters have fundraised for them, and we've given them quite a bit of support, both financially
That's
and
rad.
media-wise, marketing-wise, as much as
Yeah.
we can. Because I mean, when they approached us, 2.5 years ago, being like, "Hey, we want to start up like a training center that's like for like the LGBTQ women, blah blah blah, safe space,
Yeah.
as much female pushed as possible." I was like, "Yes,
Yes.
100%."
Yes.
And they both came out of like their own industries with not positive experiences,
Sure.
and didn't let that put them down. And it's like, great, but it would be even better if women could train without those negative experiences.
Absolutely.
At least not right in the beginning. If you go out into industry and industry tries to hand you your, you already have enough training to be like, no,
Absolutely.
right? I can fight back.
Yes.
Screw you. I don't need this.
Yeah.
Whatever.
You're already confident in your own skills.
That's right. But when you're in the
Absolutely.
beginning, just starting to train, I don't care who you are, it's a scary time.
Absolutely.
And that's not when you want to get hit below the belt. Like, you want to be able to,
That's where we lose retention there.
100%, yeah.
I see this all the time. And this is the reason why people actually come to me like, how do we do this? How do we keep women here? All I just say is treat them like they're human.
Yeah.
You know, like we just go basically back to our roots. Treat them like they're human.
Yeah.
Make them feel like they should be there, you know? And that's what I created. That's what other people are created. Like, I don't know why it's so hard to understand that.
Oh man,
you
and
know?
some of the little things, like for example, I worked for a manufacturing company for years, and when I finally got moved up into a position where I could start making like some smaller decisions, I was like, all right, I have a list of like top 3 things I want to do like next
Hold on
week.
1 minute.
Yeah.
We need a lift.
Oh yeah. You guys are out of here right away, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
15 minutes.
So,
Sorry.
No, it's cool. We're doing the same thing. We're like, "Ugh."
I apologize.
Yeah. So one of these 3 top things. Number 1, we need women's hygienic products put in the females' bathrooms.
Hold on.
Dude.
Do you notice this space here? What there is all over? This is the second time in 13 years that I have actually seen this. I went to one school in Long Beach, California, right? And they had them for free. Like you could get them and they're readily available. Clean bathroom, resources available. Fantastic. I've never seen that.
Yeah.
And then I came here, I was all, I don't need them, but I want them. They're free. You know what I mean? Like I've never seen such a fantastic, it's a clean bathroom. They smell good. You walk in, there's resources, there's towels, it's clean. I was all, this place is fantastic.
We're a welding shop of like 3,000 welders, and we got like 400 women, and we don't have any hygienic products for them in their
see, that
bathrooms.
stinks.
Number 1, they were like, okay. Number 2,
You're definitely a girl dad.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know these things, right?
Number
This does not happen often.
and then number 2, we need to designate one of the coffee rooms we're not using as a Muslim prayer space, because these poor Muslim guys are kneeling on hard cement in shady corners and getting mocked at by the other workers, and it's their goddamn religion. They're allowed to do whatever they want.
Right, right.
So let's just give them a coffee room that is empty, we're
Wow.
not using.
Yes.
And you know what? We announced it the next week. And the third thing is that we wanted to have, it was like a stupid one, but everyone was complaining, like the vending machines. You have to pay for coffee at work. Like, get out of here. No.
You need caffeine.
Yeah,
This is
like,
essential.
You
right?
want us to work hard, free caffeine.
Right.
You
Give
will,
us the
they will
caffeine.
love you.
Absolutely. Yes.
But I mean, when we set up, first of all, the machines for the hygiene products, the women were like almost in tears.
Good for you.
Because like,
Good
and
for
then
you.
the Muslim guys threw a party. They like their
Mm.
wives came and cooked food for everybody just out of
The
happiness.
first thing
Yeah.
that I did when I opened my shop was clean the bathroom and put hygiene products in the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
Because you never know what's going to happen. We're in the middle of a job. We need to be protected. And people
100%.
don't get this. You don't always take care of it. You don't always have it in your bag. And honestly, I've seen it in high schools. Sometimes little young women don't have access to it. They don't
100%.
can't even afford it. So I was
Yeah.
like, if you're going to come in here, you're going to have feminine wipes. You're going to have, all the things that you need to have, just feel comfortable to do your job.
Like, I remember
it's
that
important.
weird space when my daughter was just about getting ready to have her period, right? And there's
Oh.
like that weird window
Yeah.
when you're waiting.
Oh God.
You're like, it's gonna happen.
Sure,
You're
sure.
starting to develop, and,
Right,
and like,
right.
Latinos, she was like 9, 10. It's kind of when it happens.
right,
Pretty
right.
young, right?
Yeah.
And I was divorced already for a while, so we had a 50-50 arrangement with the kids. So they'd go, but we would do 2 weeks at a time. So I didn't like them switching back and forth so much. So it'd
Sure.
be like have them for more time. So it's like, okay, you're coming, and I'd be like, all right. So if you're at school and something happens, just call me. And it's like, I can come, or I can drop
Oh,
you off.
what a
or
good dad.
keep an extra sweater in your
Yes.
backpack in case you have to like wrap it around and you're embarrassed and you want to, and if you want to just bail, just bail.
Yeah.
It's all good. Like, just leave. You know,
Your
like-
mom must have did a fantastic job with you for you to even recognize this. You know what I mean?
Well, and I
Like,
have a younger sister too. So like,
Oh, there
literally,
you go.
my whole life is surrounded by like Spanish
wow.
women.
Absolutely. I really do appreciate that. Like I do. I'm like, trust me, you just don't hear that often.
But actually, she had it when she was with her mom. So, and then I was kind of bummed out, to be honest.
I wanted to be part of this.
Yeah, I wanted to be a part of
I'm a
this
strong
moment.
supporter here. I love it. I love it. Oh, you're such a good dad. I absolutely love that. That's
So,
cool.
so we're gonna wrap it up. Yeah, okay, we're time. So
Okay.
let's finish this with a couple questions. Number
Sure,
one,
sure.
what's coming up? What's new? What's on the horizon? Where are you going?
I have no idea. Okay, so word is we're actually be opening a Welding Women's Syndicate in Canada.
Oh, where? Toronto? Somewhere big?
I'm not gonna tell you
Vancouver?
this yet,
Calgary, Alberta.
but it is in Canada, so that's gonna be opening up pretty quick here. I'll let you guys know what happens, and
well,
then
we can help.
yes, you absolutely can. Yes, you absolutely can. I would love it.
CFO right there being like,
So that's what's happening. We may be in Mexico pretty quick here.
Oh, awesome. We're looking at setting up a chapter in Mexico.
Oh, how exciting.
One in Houston, one in Mexico, one in Chile.
How weird. We may be going to Houston too. You're following us, I believe. There's a lot of things happening right now that I can't exactly say what's going on. Yeah, I mean, we're teaching. We're hoping to have full capacity on an even, or on a consistent basis within the next 3 months. I mean, that's it. Oh, we are going to be doing a public chopping. I know it sounds crazy, of a car. So
Okay,
I'm bringing
yeah.
in my own vehicle to the shop, and we're going to do a chop and a conversion and putting custom suspension on it. I'm going to allow all the women to work on it. So that's going to be a project.
Are you cutting glass or are you getting glass cut?
No, that's gonna be cut. We're gonna
that's
do.
hard.
We're gonna do. Yeah, we're not gonna get into that part. We're gonna do the welding and fabrication aspect and do the suspension and maybe
kind of
in-house
car?
painting. It's a '61 Corvair wagon.
Okay. Corvair.
So
and
we're gonna do
that's
a
rear engine, isn't it?
Yes, 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 it is.
Right.
So it's we're gonna do a 2-door conversion and then we're gonna put custom suspension on it. So I want women to be able to have their hands on this project. So that's gonna be coming into the shop.
That's a fun project because that was considered one of the worst cars ever made in the history of the world.
Yes,
Which
yes.
makes them very iconic now.
Well, and it's weird because it's a Corvair wagon, it's super rare, right? And we're just about to cut it up, and so I think people are going to be very angry about it, which I don't really care.
That's awesome.
But women, I want them to have the experience to welding on thin sheet metal and the rust repair and the fabrication aspects. So because it's my vehicle, not a customer's, we can allow this to happen.
Well, and roofs are tricky. As soon as you cut those posts, she bounces.
Yes, she
opens
does.
right up,
Yes,
right?
she does.
So then you got to get come-alongs and pull things in. And,
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very interesting, definitely. So that's a project that's coming up.
That's fun.
Other things, I mean, there are plans out there. We can't necessarily discuss them now, but hopefully we will be in Mexico. Hopefully we will be in Houston. And definitely the Welding Women's Syndicate will be in Canada. Don't know the days yet. We're still working out logistics on this right now. There's a whole,
Well,
business
if you need
side.
even just some pre-support or information, reach out.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
We're connected across Canada.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate that.
And last question.
Yes.
Same one I wrap up all my shows with. Let's pick a time and space. So this is the day you walked into that shop with your car that you saw who was meant to be your future mentor and the place you're going to work. Now, knowing what you know today about the industry, your experience, the Women Welding Syndicate, all the evolution from that day to now, you could travel in a time machine back to that moment. What piece of advice would you give yourself?
Don't stop. Don't stop.
Well, you haven't stopped, so
But it's a lot of people do.
yeah.
It's very intimidating. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't ever second guess yourself. Don't ever feel like you have to validate yourself, because I've done it quite often. And now there's a point I just absolutely will not do it. I don't care who you are. You could be the president yourself and ask me, well, why do you think you're good enough for this
Because
award?
I said so.
because I'm the best, apparently. No, and not even that, but you have to just don't stop. Just continue onto the path. Don't allow deterrents to distract you from what you're doing, regardless of the evolution of things. I think at some point I did question things, and then the validation part comes in, but I didn't stop. It's just I think I don't ever want to have to validate myself again. Don't question why you're doing things. I do this quite often. You know what I mean? Like, it's scary. When I'm doing it, it's scary. It absolutely is.
100%.
And it freaks me out of like the grand scope of things. But I'm not going to stop, obviously. But I would just tell myself, don't validate myself to anybody anymore. Keep continuing, believe in yourself, 100%. Yeah, that's it.
There's only up, right? Have you ever tried climbing down a rope?
All right. I fell down so many times. I just keep getting back up.
Right?
But,
you just keep going, right?
There's just always that aspect of, God, why am I doing this? And then, this door will open. Oh, that's the reason why. Or this award comes, or this opportunity to partner up with somebody. And you're like, oh, that's why.
Perfect.
But yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Tiffany, for being a part of the
Thank
show.
you.
Let people know how to find you real quick.
You can Google Welding Women's Syndicate, and all the channels, all the websites, all the information will come up from there. Whatever your flavor is of the month, if it's YouTube to Instagram, you'll find it via Welding Women's Syndicate.
All
Just
right,
search me.
perfect. Well, thank you to everyone that's been tuning in with us and following us during this Fabtech journey. We've had lots of fun here in Atlanta. Everything's wrapping up. They're on a plane out of here now.
Like now.
We're leaving not far behind. So thank you very much for taking the time.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And for bringing your team that's been so patiently waiting here.
They're napping over here.
Awesome.
I love you guys.
Well, take care. For all the people following, keep following and stay tuned for the next fantastic episode. Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed the show.